Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the series where I talk about my 2019 reads. Today is going to be one of the few nonfiction books that I read during 2019. And this one is actually one that I specifically, when I saw it, I was like, ooh, I've heard about this. And that is Operation Greylord by Terrence Hake. The title is much longer, but basically, Operation Greylord, when I had heard about it, was about Terrence Hake, who was I believe he was a defense attorney. No, he was a prosecutor in the Cook County prosecutor's office in Chicago, if I remember correctly. And he noticed that there were a lot of cases being either thrown out or being won by less than scrupulous defense attorneys, known as like hallway hustlers, basically people who would sit outside and basically hustle a defendant. It's like, hey, you need representation, just pay half my fee and we'll be good and I'll get you off. And he noticed that a lot of these people were winning, or that judges were just straight up throwing out things, and he didn't understand why. It came to a head when he had a trial where the guy had, I believe, raped and killed a young girl, and he got off scot free. And Terry could not figure out why. Come to find out, he ends up getting pulled into a FBI investigation where he goes undercover as a dirty lawyer. And he finds out that there are bailiffs, judges, lawyers, police officers, even some political people that are involved in this, in bribery and all this money being thrown around to throw out certain cases, to put money in their pockets. And it was the longest undercover operation. I believe it actually lasted about 4 years, just for the undercover operation, and then the subsequent trials afterward. Now, this book is written from Terry's point of view when he first started in the undercover operation, and then when he became a vetted FBI agent, and then when he got pulled from it, when the trials started, when the actual arrests started for the people that he had been um, checking out while undercover, and then into the subsequent trials, and then the aftermath. So this book covered a lot. I actually read it twice in 2019 because it was so good. Um, and as you're listening to this, he's talking about the not only emotional toll but also psychological toll that this came about. Two very big instances. One of the people that he had to get very close to was another hallway hustler, and Lou Costello. And he ended up becoming one of Terry's best friends. And he ended up having to try and flip him into being an informant, but the guy basically said no. And that was that. And also, another one was his best friend. Prior to him going undercover, he found out that he was also dirty. And it was so sad to see these two relationships that Terry had, one of them that he had gotten during his undercover operation, and another one that he had prior to it, both of them just fall apart because of money. And it was it was so tragic to hear this, and I got so invested with the characters. There were certain portions that got really slow, but again, it's nonfiction. Um so that's bound to happen. But when it finally came down to the actual trial portion, I was doing the dishes and I was literally on like the edge of my seat, metaphorically, listening to these verdicts. And one of them that really annoyed me was one that when Terry had gone onto the stand, because he had never been given any kind of psychological evaluation prior to getting into this undercover operation, and then during it he never got any kind of psychological evaluation. He only got it after he had stopped his undercover work. And he was not mentally stable from that. But when he got onto the stand and he was being badgered by the defense attorney for a particular person, they basically kept twisting around everything that he said. And it was so sad because this particular person got off incredibly lightly. But I will say that the very next case after that was was I think a judge, and he got the largest sentence out of everyone. I think it was 16 years. And mind you, that's the largest. But over the course of this particular investigation, I believe I counted 3 people actually took their lives because of what was going on, including a judge. And it was so sad and so tragic to see people's lives destroyed by greed and by the promise of a quick buck. So if you are interested in anything in like true crime, I highly recommend this one, Operation Greylord. It is very informative. It is a little dry at times, but I highly recommend it. So that's my thoughts on Operation Greylord by Terrence Hake. I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.